Hello there, my kindergarten dolphins. Let's talk about some math today. So we are continuing to review. Remember, that is a word that means we're going over things that we've already learned. So we've already learned the things we're going to look at today, but we're practicing them again so that we're ready for our test. So we'll talk about our objective and what we're reviewing today, and then we'll get right into it. So I'll start and you repeat. Objective is what we are going to learn. And it says, I can review, practice, how to measure weight, how heavy something is. And here are the phrases that we want to practice today. I can use heavier than or lighter than, and I can use as heavy as. So let's talk about those phrases really quick. It's important that we practice using specific math language. So when I ask you to use these phrases, it's because as we get into the older grades, like first grade and second grade, we might see words like this, and we need to know exactly what it means. So we want to practice using it now. So heavier than. When I say something is heavier than something else, I'm comparing two items, and I'm going to name one of them being heavier than the other one. Same thing with lighter than. When I'm comparing two items, I can tell which one is not as heavy, and I can compare it to the other and say it is lighter. That phrase, as heavy as, that means that things are the same weight. If something is as heavy, like my purple marker is as heavy as my blue marker, they are the same weight. If I had them on a scale, they would be balanced. So let's look at some examples of these things, and then I'll show you how you're going to practice at home. All right, so I've got some seesawing going on here. Remember, a seesaw is like an example of a balance scale, where if you put something on both sides, it's going to tip over to the side that is heavier. When it's tipped over, when that side is down towards the ground, that means that that item is heavier. So if we look at our seesaw, we've got a cat and a dog on the seesaw together. Now, what do we notice is going on with our balance scale here? One of the sides is tipped down. What does that tell us? It tells us that our dog weighs more. So let's compare the dog and the cat. And remember, when we compare, I want to talk about both of them. And I want to practice using those phrases heavier as and heavier than and lighter than. So if I want to talk about my dog, I could say the dog is heavier than the cat. What if I want to talk about the cat? What phrase would I use then? The cat is lighter than the dog. So I'm naming both of the objects that I'm comparing, which are my cat and my dog, and I'm using those phrases heavier than and lighter than. Let's try another one. Oh my goodness, we've got some more animals on a seesaw now. We have a giraffe and a bird. And we're going to pretend our seesaw is like our balance scale. What do we notice going on with the giraffe and the bird? It's tipping down towards the giraffe. What does that tell us? How can we compare the giraffe and the bird? The giraffe is heavier than the bird. The bird is lighter than the giraffe. Very good. Let's look at one last example. All right, now we've got something going on here with this scale. What do we notice about this scale? It looks like we have a pig and a puppy. And there's something interesting about this scale. It is balanced. What does that mean? It means that the weight of the pig and the weight of the puppy is the same. It is equal. Remember, equal means the same. What is that phrase that we use when we talk about things being equal in weight? It's as heavy as. My pig is as heavy as the puppy. It's not lighter, it's not heavier, it's as heavy as. That means it is the same weight. So that's how I would compare the pig and the puppy. I would say my pig is as heavy as my puppy, or my puppy is as heavy as my pig. that tells me that those two things are equal in weight. They are the same weight. So now we've practiced using our phrase heavier than, lighter than, and as heavy as. Now I want you to try using these phrases at home. So I want you to find some different items at home. I want you to find two items that you can compare that are not the same weight. So for instance, my book is heavier than my roll of tape. My roll of tape is lighter than my book. But then I also want you to find two items that are the same weight. So I found that my scissors and my tennis ball are. So I can say my scissors are as heavy as my tennis ball. My tennis ball is as heavy as my scissors. So see how I picked different items there. I had some that were not equal in weight, that one was clearly heavier and one was clearly lighter. And I found two that did feel equal in weight, that I could use that phrase as heavy as. So if I was a kindergartner turning in my homework, I would do this. Hey there, Miss O. I'm going to tell you about measuring weight today. I have two items that are not the same weight. My book is heavier than my tape. My tape is lighter than my book. I also found items that are the same weight. My tennis ball is as heavy as my pair of scissors. My pair of scissors is as heavy as my tennis ball. Woohoo! A+, 100%. So that's what you're going to do for homework today. Give that a try, and then you'll be all ready for your test. You guys are going to do awesome, and I will check in with you all later. Good luck. Bye.